Here we are, folks. This is the Ethan Alexander Show, hosted by me, Ethan Alexander. I am so excited to get this venture started. Don't be worried. The Threewind Podcast is still up and running. This week was a slow one, so we didn't get to it as much as I want to. And you know what? At this point, if I have to record them by myself every week, I'll record them by myself every week. I don't really care. But yeah. This is the first Ethan Alexander Show. I was going over, and trust me, I didn't want this to be named the Ethan Alexander Show because my name holds no value as of right now. And I've watched your average how to have a better podcast, how to have a better image online. And one of the things was when you start your podcast, don't just say your blank name show. And I was like, well, that's probably a good idea. My name holds no value. The Ethan Alexander Show doesn't have any real value now, does it? But then I was going through names, and they all sucked. I wanted my name to be in there somewhere. And my name just doesn't rhyme with anything. I thought, take a gander with it. That's horrible. Horrible. It's just not good. And I couldn't really think of any other good ones. And you know what? At the end of the day, who cares that the Ethan Alexander Show is just the Ethan Alexander Show? I don't, and it's going to have a cool logo that I like, so that's all I care about. This is a sports show, the Threewind Podcast is also a sports show, maybe having some overlapping things. Hopefully, the Threewind Podcast is more of a funny, between friends kind of thing. We're a little serious, but we don't even delve into sports really, like, deep at all. It's more just comedic, and then this show is also going to be, I'm going to try to be as funny as I can be. And that's hopefully pretty funny, because I take pride in myself knowing that I think I'm a pretty funny individual. But I'm going to be actually giving my opinions on sports that I don't really give, or I don't give a serious one on the 3-1 podcast because, it's goofy, and half the time we're talking about a sport that one of the three people, or two of the three people, don't even know about. So we're going to, get into these. And I'll have you know now that basketball is my sport. And that I know about tennis, a lot about tennis and basketball. And then after that, my knowledge base plummets down a massive hill and dies when it hits the bottom. But I know enough about the current topics to be able to talk about them, I think, in my personal opinion, that I think I'll be just fine. And we'll learn as we go. So that's the intro. That's the whole kit and caboodle. Let's get into this. First off, Cam Newton was cut by the Patriots today after a tumultuous season last year. Cam Newton, of course, was the MVP just a few years ago. I believe it was 2015. Now he doesn't have a job. He was the quarterback for the Patriots last year. He was suspected to come back this year. Of course, they drafted Mac Jones with a 15th overall pick in this past draft, who, of course, is the quarterback coming out of Alabama. And they're putting all of their rocks in, I don't know, what even is the saying? In something in the basket. They're putting all their money in the basket. I forgot the saying, but they're putting it all in there, and Mac Jones is the basket. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I think what they see in him, I think, is the same thing everybody sees in him, especially once he was drafted by the Patriots. He's a fat, not like overweight fat, but a little chunky, a little on the chubby side. Overweight a little bit, unathletic, doesn't have a crazy arm quarterback. The last time they had a guy that fit those parameters, he's the greatest player of all time now. Am I saying Mac Jones is going to be that good? No. Do I think he's in a perfect, excellent, exemplary place to be really good? Yeah. Yeah, he is. Being in New England, when you have that frame, when you have that build, when you have those skills, there's no other place you want to be. I know they don't produce fat, unathletic white quarterbacks all the time, but they have a big one. So, every once in a while an artist that paints a masterpiece is going to paint another one, and I think Mac has hopes of being that other one. You know what I mean? So Mac's in a wonderful, wonderful spot, in my opinion, and now he's going to be getting all the touches. He's QB1 now. Cam Newton is no longer on the Patriots. It's Mac Jones. What does this mean for the Patriots? They're probably going to suck this year. They're probably not going to be good, and that's okay. That's not what their end goal is. Their end goal is to turn Mac Jones into a very, very, very good quarterback and eventually have another Super Bowl dynasty team. Do I think that's going to happen? It might. It might. Shoot. You would say if it was in a different situation that no, I don't think this is going to happen. But they've already done it once. They could do it again. So Cam Newton's out. He's been cut. Where's he going to end up? Who knows? He could be a Texan. He could be a Colt. He could be a. There's a lot of teams with quarterbacks that are probably worse than Cam Newton. I'll put it that way. No one really knows where he's going to go, but he might be a quarterback. He might be a starter. But either way, I have a feeling he'll be back in the NFL. Someone said he's going to go to like the Canadian Football League. I highly doubt it. I would have the dude as a backup even if I'm never going to play him, because he was the MVP. He deserves to be in the league. On to a baseball topic that piqued my interest. I'm not a baseball guy. There's a mosquito in my room. Who is going to get it? There's a mosquito in the recording room right now. Who's going to get it? And you'll see, watching this, if he flies across my peripheral, anywhere around my head, I'm going to throw out a quick glancing grab to try to grab him and kill him. And if I do so, you will definitely know about it because I'll release a scream of excitement, because there's nothing more. All right, and I know we're already getting off topic. We're on the second topic. Nothing better in life than killing a mosquito and or wasp. That's all I want to say. All right, we're on to the Mets giving thumbs down to fans. What an interesting thing. The Mets, I don't keep up enough with MLB to give you actual stuff about the Mets. From what I've heard, they're way underperforming. I follow Barstool, of course, as you can see. Frank the Tank Fleming, Barstool worker, biggest Mets fan I've ever seen. Kevin Clancy, Mets fan, and then Clem, Mets fan. They suck worse than they should. And so, of course, they're going to get boos from their fans that don't think they should be sucking. And when they're sucking, they're going to get those boos. And they've been doing a lot of sucking. And so they get booed by the fans. The fans aren't super happy with them. So they've been, I think, I don't know if they did it in just one game or two. They did it in 2 or 3. But whenever they get a hit, they give the thumbs down. They give the thumbs down to the fans because I think Javi Baez said something to the effect of, if they don't want to give us our support when we're not successful, we're not going to give them any satisfaction when we are. And to an extent, I think it's okay not to be, excited that your fans aren't supporting you. But you don't alienate your fan base when you've already played like crap. Maybe if you were playing really good and your fans were still booing you, then maybe you have a case. I don't think the Mets have a case, like, at all, really. So this looks bad. I think Lindor also did it. Looks bad. Do we blame the Mets fans being too mean? Do we blame the players being too soft? Do we blame Cubs fans for being too nice when Baez was there and was swinging at every single pitch and was striking out more than any player in the league? But they were still so nice that he never really figured out that he may not, shouldn't be doing that. Who knows? But I don't think, giving a thumbs down to your fan base is the greatest move. To each their own. I know if I was an MLB player making millions, I wouldn't alienate the people that pay my checks. And you might be like, the owners pay their... No. It's a sport. It's entertainment. The people that are coming and sitting there and watching you on TV are the people that are paying your checks. Yeah, I think it's a bad business move. I think it's a bad baseball move. I'm a notable not bad business move guy. Okay? I see a bad business move, I'm not there. I'm nowhere near it. I don't want to be seen around a bad business move, and God forbid a bad baseball move. We'll move on. Jake Paul beats Tyron Woodley. This is big news. I had Woodley winning, I had Jake Paul beating Nate Robinson, and I had Jake Paul beating Deji, the YouTuber, in case you haven't caught up with all this stuff in the boxing events. I had Jake Paul winning those. Then I had Jake Paul losing to Ben Askren because I thought he'd be tougher. And then I had him losing to Woodley. He beat Woodley. Woodley looked like garbage for most of the rounds. He woke up in round 4 and looked like an actual serious threat, and Jake looked like he was about to get killed. And for some reason, Woodley didn't just keep doing that. I have no idea why rounds 5 through 8 didn't look like a round 4 for Woodley. Woodley figured out exactly what he needed to do, exactly what was working, and just stopped doing it. Usually when you find exactly what's working, you keep doing it. He didn't. And I don't know who's in his corner telling him not to do that, but I'd recommend not having them in your corner for the maybe, possibly, might gonna happen fight number 2. But Jake, is it time that we just admit he's a real boxer? I mean, it's hard for me to say. I have said already since this fight happened that I think it's time we admit he's a real boxer. But he didn't look good in this fight. Woodley just looked worse. He was crossing his feet a ton, very off balance. He still has issues throwing that left hand, and his right hand's all right. I think he fights an actual boxer, even a boxer with similar experience as him, but a boxer who is only a boxer and who has only fought real boxers. I think he loses, and I don't think that's super exciting. So what should he do? He should keep doing what he's doing. I know people hate it. I know people. This sucks for boxing. This sucks. Jake Paul beating people who don't box in boxing is horrible for boxing. No, it's not. Nobody. I know this sounds a little brash. Nobody watches boxing anymore, and it's the occasional huge big fight and good fight will get viewers, but regular just boxing, no one watches it anymore. Everybody watches the UFC. Nobody watches boxing. This is fantastic for boxing. I don't know if there's anything that could have happened better for boxing apart from God coming down and boxing himself. That's the only thing I can think of. This has been great for boxing. Nobody was talking about boxing other than when Jacob, was I about to say Jacob Paul? Excuse me. Jake Paul has been doing it. No one was talking about it unless he was doing it, or Tyson Fury. One of the two. And if you aren't one of the two, no one's really talking about you unless you are a boxing fan. If you're a casual sports watcher who will turn on the occasional boxing match, you didn't really care about boxing. Now you do. And I'll tell you what, I'm much, much, much more likely to watch an actual boxing event right now than I was before. I think it's great for boxing. He's doing numbers. He's doing numbers for himself. Poor Tyrone. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Is it Tyron Woodley or Tyrone Woodley? If it is Tyron Woodley, that's a cool name. It is spelled accordingly. If it is Tyrone Woodley, that is so stupid. It doesn't have an E at the end. Do we not know how English works? I've heard people call him Tyron Woodley, and I've heard people call him Tyrone Woodley. I follow UFC a little bit, not enough to get through this topic. This is ridiculous to me. If his name is actually Tyrone Woodley, and it's spelled Tyron, I'm going to have a meltdown. That is ridiculous. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. If his name is actually Tyrone and not Tyron, he deserved to lose from the beginning. That's all I have to say on that subject, but I'm just telling you, it's ridiculous. And I'm legitimately heated that his name may be Tyrone when it's spelled that way. That's stupid. As far as the fight goes, and we'll hop back to the fight real quick. Tyrone loses. I'm gonna keep saying Tyrone, by the way. Tyrone loses, and after the fight, Tyrone says, "Jake, I want to run it back. Let's run it back. Let's have the second fight. Run it back." First off, we don't want to see that. We want to see Jake Paul keep fighting new faces, people that we didn't even think about before, or people that we did think about before and want to see. We don't want to see another Tyron Woodley fight. I'm sorry, but if that's what's in the cards, then that's what's in the cards. Jake Paul said, "Okay, let me do a little bit of backstory. Before the fight, they agreed that whoever lost was gonna get a tattoo that said 'I love' and then their opponent's name." Tyrone then later on said that he wasn't going to do this and that the bet only applied to Jake and didn't apply to him, which is not cool at all, Tyrone. That's not cool of you because you did agree to it. However, after the fight, Jake Paul, knowing this, said, "I will fight you again if you get the tattoo." Tyrone said he would get the tattoo. That's all I need to hear. Because Tyrone not getting that tattoo Tyron not getting that tattoo, I do not care about the next fight. Tyron fighting Jake with a I love Jake tattoo visible on his body, I'm buying that fight. I didn't buy this one. I used matters that weren't proper to view it on a different platform. To escape legal accountability, I simply viewed it on a differing platform than the one that was shown to the masses. But yeah, if Tyron fights Jake again and he has the I love Jake tattoo visible on his body and it's a real tattoo, not a fake one, I'm buying that fight and I'm not taking my eyes off the screen. Because either Jake wins and a man with the I love Jake tattoo just lost for the second time to the kid, or Tyron beats a guy who he has his name with I love blank on his body. Either way, it would be a fantastic ending. But as of right now, Jake Paul stands undefeated, and Tyron Woodley does not in the sport of boxing. Who will he fight next? I'm hoping it's Tyson Fury's, nephew, Tommy Fury. Or I don't think he's his nephew. He might be his little brother. I know for a lot of people that's not a huge name, but for boxing it is. And I think he would win. I think he'd beat Jake, and I want to see Jake lose. I'm sorry. Let's move on to a sport that I probably won't be covering much on this show. And I'm covering it now because I watched it live, and I am so mind-boggled and baffled by the situation that I had to talk about it. Bryson DeChambeau had the biggest choke that I've ever seen in golf. It was the BMW Championship. He was winning. And then he in the last couple of holes, Patrick Cantley, another golfer, catches up with him. They tie at the end. And then they go to playoffs. Or they go to a sudden death hole. So they have to keep playing holes till somebody beats the other one. And good Lord, was it unbearable to watch. DeChambeau got it to the green very, very quickly every single time. Cantley did not. Cantley took a second to get there. DeChambeau had 4 or 5 chances to win it by simply hitting like an 8 to 16 foot putt. He's a professional golfer, one of the best golfers in the world, and he could not clutch up $10 million to make an 8 to 16 foot putt. I'm not a good golfer. I suck at golf, in fact. I think I could make 2 out of 10 8-foot putts. If you put $10 million on the line and I have an unlimited time to make that putt, first try, I'm making that putt. I don't care who I'm playing against. I don't care if I'm playing against Tiger Woods. If one of us has to make a putt for $10 million, you best believe I'm making the putt. I'm not missing it. It's the same thing as people have always said. Shoot from half court for $10 million or shoot from 3 for $2 million. I'm shooting from half court. And I know you're like, that's a horrible gamble. You're more likely to make from 3. $2 million's a lot of money still. I'm not going to miss when that much money is on the line. I'm going to do mathematics. I'm going to do proper form technique. I'm going to have the proper velocity exit from my hands. Everything to get that money. And the same thing goes for this. The fact that one of the best golfers in the world couldn't hit an 8-foot putt to win $10 million against a guy who was struggling to get it near the hole, one of the biggest chokes of all time. I was watching it live, and every single time he did it, I was shocked. How's he doing this? What? How's he keep missing? I'll tell you how he keeps missing, because he can't putt. He sucks. He sucks from putt, and I keep grabbing on the metal part of my microphone, and it's just shortening out, baby. Biggest choke I've ever... One of the biggest chokes in sports general that I've watched live. Obviously, probably not many people are not going to consider that one of the biggest chokes in sports history. I watched it live. It was bad. It was bad. And if you don't watch it live, I wish I was you, because I don't want to ever see that happen ever again. It made me cringe. It sent shivers up my spine. I was in a hot sweat. It was ridiculous. I was really uncomfortable watching him miss 8-foot putts over and over and over and over again to win, or in better words, to lose $10 million. The next topic is one near and dear to my heart. Ben Simmons has officially said that he does not wish to ever play in a Philadelphia 76ers uniform ever again, and that he will not be attending training camp. It's so nice. It's so nice to see the Sixers fail. They're going to have to send him away for nothing now. They thought they were going to be able to hold out, and they were going to have him at the beginning of the year for him to put his trade stock back up, or at the very least get a good deal. If they don't want a random guy, if they don't want to pay this guy millions and millions of dollars to sit on the bench for the first months of the season, they need to send him off right now for nothing. Oh boy, I love it. In case you've never watched the Threewind Podcast, in case you've never watched any of our blogs, in case you've never watched any of my YouTube videos, first off, what are you doing? You're lame. You suck. Second off, sorry I said that. You don't suck. You should subscribe and like the channel and everything we do. Third off, I don't like the 76ers. Philadelphia is my least favorite city in the world. Philadelphia is my least favorite sports city in the world. The Sixers are my least favorite sports team in the world. Seeing them fail makes me feel so good. So good. And I'm a Jazz fan. Right there. We failed this year. I was very upset about it. But one thing I told myself was, as long as the 76ers don't win, I'm a happy, happy camper. They didn't win, I was a happy, happy camper. Here we are again. They suck. They're failing in the offseason. They're going to give Joel Embiid a roster of nobodies and has-beens other than Tobias Harris. And I think, is Seth Curry still there, or did he get traded? I have no idea. But, yeah. I'm just ecstatic. If I'm being honest, I'm ecstatic that Philadelphia is struggling. There's nothing quite... And I'm trying to word this in a way where everybody will be able to understand, because it's such a universal feeling. It's like when you have that enemy, in high school, that guy you don't like or that girl you don't like, and they think they're hot. They think they're the hottest person on the block, and they fail at something, and you're like, man, that feels good. That's the situation I'm in. The 76ers failing feels really good right about now, and I'm so serious. I'm ecstatic. Ben Simmons is gone. Where will he end up? Who knows? I don't really care where he will end up. I'm not a big Ben Simmons guy. I don't really like him. But as long as he's not helping out the 76ers in either playing for them and being good and playing for them and helping them win, or getting them a good trade package in return, as long as he's not doing either of those, I'm on the Ben Simmons hype train, baby. And you best believe it. This is a topic. The next topic we're going to talk about is one that I am familiar with. A lot of you may not be, but it's pretty funny. I'm a tennis player, and I follow tennis. And a lot of people who watch my stuff or read my stuff do not and are not. There's a guy from Greece named Stefano Sitsupos. He's the number 3 player in the world right now. He has a history, to say the least, of going to the bathroom during games. What is he doing there? Who knows? But he's in there for a very long time when he is. What most players believe he's doing, because he brings his bag with him, is that he's texting his coach in the bathroom. Now, in case you don't know, you don't follow tennis, professional tennis players are not allowed to talk to their coach while they're playing. It's not like that in high school, and I don't think it's like that in college. Professional players are not allowed to talk to their coach when they're playing. I don't know if it's an immediate disqualification or if they just lose points or the game or the set or whatever. I don't know. Excuse me, I'm a bit tired. But I'm not 100% sure what the punishment is. But from what I have heard, almost every player mutually agrees that that's what he's doing. He's going to the bathroom for like 10 minutes and just texting his coach. And no one can stop him, because if they go into the stall with him, that's breaking the law. Do you respect the grind? Maybe. But in my opinion, it sucks. So he played Andy Murray yesterday? Maybe 2 days ago. I think it was yesterday. And Andy Murray, man, I'm about to yawn again. I'm tired. Andy Murray is a fan favorite of tennis players. I'm not a huge Andy Murray guy, but he's had a hard career. He was number one in the world at one point, and then he got hurt, and he's been on a up and down ladder since then. He's not. I don't know what his ranking is. If I had to assume, he's probably a top 50 player in the world now. I wouldn't think he's top 25. Um, he was playing Sitsupos, and he brought him to 5 sets. Which, in case you don't know, that means that's like they're in basically overtime, and whoever wins wins. Andy Murray, who wasn't even supposed to get close in this match, is about to push this guy to the very end. Then Tsitsipas goes to the bathroom for like 20 minutes. Could he have been going number 2? Maybe. Why did he need to bring his bag? With his phone in it? Why did he need to bring that bag? He didn't. He could have left that bag right there. Instead, he brings it to the stall. Is in the stall for 20 minutes. And while he is enjoying his bathroom experience, Andy Murray is going off on both the commissioner of the tournament. This is the U.S. Open, by the way, one of the Grand Slams. And the ref saying he's on his phone. Trust me, he's on his phone and we all know it. You know it, I know it, he knows it, we all know it. He's on his phone. We just can't do anything about it because he's in the bathroom. You tell me. Do you respect the Tsitsipas grind? You know, getting pushed to the very end by a guy who you should be smacking in the mouth? And so what do? You go talk to your coach in the bathroom. You text your coach in the bathroom and illegally break the sacred laws of the ancient art of tennis. Who knows? But me personally, I'm not a big fan. Dude, I need to do something to wake myself up. I don't know why I'm so tired. I wasn't tired before, but talking about sports is tiring. I'm not sure, but that's a funny story in my opinion. Being one of the greatest players in the world right now and having to go sit on a toilet in the middle of your. Here's a good example. And it's not really a great example because basketball players are allowed to be coached during the game. But imagine LeBron James left the game, went to the bathroom for an entire half, and someone walked in the bathroom, and he's just in there watching film on the other team. That's sort of what's going on here. Is he gonna get punished for it? I don't know. I kind of hope he does, but at the same time, I hope he doesn't because it's really funny, and I want it to keep happening. And if he gets punished for it, obviously it's not going to keep happening. I kind of want it to keep happening, so I hope he doesn't get punished. All right, are we just doing a yawn a minute now? I don't know why I'm keep yawning. Here's the funniest story of maybe the year. In case you don't know, IMG Academy is the number 1 football school in the entire nation. They are a prep school. You have to pay a lot of money to attend or get a very hefty scholarship to attend. They are a high school, and they're very good at every single sport, but they are the number 1 football team in the nation. And they had a game on ESPN. And so I believe they put out asking schools to come in and play them. And they got an application from a team called Bishop Sycamore out of Ohio. Bishop Sycamore lost the game 58 to nothing. IMG won 58 to nothing. This is when it starts to get interesting. Bishop Sycamore shows up to the game with 35 players, meaning that every single player is playing offense and defense and probably special teams too. They didn't have matching jerseys, matching helmets, barely the same colors so that it's acceptable. They gave the rosters to the announcers, and they had many players on their team with numbers that weren't even on the roster. And people began to question, what's going on here? So since then, some stuff has come out. Apparently, Bishop Sycamore doesn't exist. It's simply a website, and an online school, and I put the asterisks next to that, the quotations next to that, online school without any classes, and they had like a lot of D1 recruits apparently. No, They're a fake school that they don't have any classes. A fake school. No one attends there. Their entire team was made out of people who dropped out of college, like 20 to 30-year-old guys. That's absurd. A team full of 20 to 30-year-old college football dropouts lost 58 to nothing on live television to the number one high school football team in the nation. What kind of storyline is that? That's ridiculous. 20 to 30-year-olds having the gall to play high school football against high schoolers. And not only doing that, getting absolutely dog walked. Absolutely smacked in the face. Kicked in the chest. Destroyed. And I know it's not crazy because they're the number one team in the nation. You're like 26, dude. Go home. You probably have a family. Their head coach was apparently a felon with like a warrant out for his arrest. It's insane. It's insane. But you know what? And I'll bang my mic on the table and probably make a loud screeching sound. And I'll sit closer to the camera to give my opinion. I am so in. I am so in. If Bishop Sycamore, they need to let him stay. I get it, it's illegal. What's so bad about these kids whooping these older guys? They're killing them. I guarantee you the top 10 best high school football schools in the nation are beating this team. I think it's hilarious. I think they need a television show. Bishop Sycamore. I think Barstool just released a Bishop Sycamore shirt, and I want it. It's pretty amazing. I think and even if, listen, they may never be allowed to play another high school game ever. We need to get them to play somebody. Can they play like the Jets? Or maybe like the Jets B team, the Jets practice squad. I think it would be pretty funny. And I know they fired their coach, the guy who had a warrant out for his arrest. I know they fired him. I want to hear from the guy. I want to know, how do you get fired from a fake school? How do you get fired from a fake school? The whole situation is absolutely malarkey. It's absolutely baffling to me. But it's real, and it happened on live TV, and the reaction from the announcers is hilarious. Well, and the funniest one I saw was he said, well, the guy hurt on the field right now is number 54. And, folks, we don't have a number 54 in our rosters they gave us. That is, dude, that's so funny. They finessed ESPN. They finessed the best high school football team in the nation. And they finessed, like, the state of Ohio. I'm all in. I'm a bitch. This is now... This Threewind Sports, this podcast, the Threewind podcast, we're all Bishop Sycamore fans now. These are all officially Bishop Sycamore podcasts. That's the last sports topic I have for today. But before I ended the show, I wanted to give my condolences to Jimmy Hayes and the Hayes family. He was an NHL player that passed away, a retired NHL player. I don't know if the causes have been released, but it's not important. Very unexpected, very surprising for the NHL community, the sports community as a whole, and of course the NHL. And of course his family and the NHL. So condolences to the family, and it's a very sad case. That's all I got for this week. I'm gonna try to do this show weekly. If I don't get around to it every week, I'm not gonna be as strict with this as I am with the Threewind Podcast. The only reason I think I can do this weekly is because it's just me. I don't have to text other people to ask them to be here, what time. I don't have to ask them to do anything. I sit down here and I talk about the sports, and I give my personal opinions. I don't have to go back and forth with other people's opinions. You're just hearing from me. I think I could do that once a week, and this has not been long at all. It's been like 35 minutes, and it's not a hard watch either. So that's all I have. This has been the Ethan Alexander Show. Please like and subscribe. Make sure to check out all of our socials, Threewind Sports, on pretty much everything. And go check out the Threewind Podcast as well. We're moving up. We're doing a lot of stuff. If you hop on right now, if you hop on the Threewind train, the Threewind bandwagon right now, you're gonna be very, very satisfied later on down the line whenever we are very successful, and everybody who didn't believe in the movement isn't. So that's all that matters. This has been the Ethan Alexander Show. I'm happy you are here, and I'll see you next week.